Our next panelist is Gretchen McClain, the CEO of Xylem. She can also tell us a little bit of history of Xylem and what does exactly a strange word like Xylem means to engineers and technocrats like us.
Thank you. Thank you. So Xylem, let me just explain a little bit about our background. Xylem is a new company, just started in October 31st of last year. But we really are a company that have been in the water space for over 150 years. We are a spin-off of ITT, where we brought our water businesses together, and now we're an independent company with 12,000 employees around the world focused around one common purpose, and that is water. We are a water equipment company. We actually move, treat, test water. So if we think about today, 7 billion people sharing water, only 1% of the water which is drinkable, that water and every piece of that part of that water, so every drop of water is required to be moved, treated, tested, used responsibly, and ultimately returned and reused. That is a job that we do in terms of the equipment that we provide, the systems knowledge that we have, our applications expertise, having been in the industry for the many years that we have been. As I mentioned, a global company. We serve over 150 countries with our equipment. Just a comment in terms of the questions that we were asked today about the future and what we should be doing. Three points I'd like to make today, which I think will complement what my colleagues here tonight will be talking about as well. But I do think the point that was made, a culture of responsibility, is absolutely critical. We have a responsibility to help solve this issue of water, and the people in this room, more than anyone, understand those issues deeper. We also all understand that water has a very local face and needs to be understood from a local perspective, but there are global responsibilities and direction and policy that can be driven to help address the issue. The 3 points that I'd like to address, first, is about kickstarting innovation. And when I talk about kickstarting innovation, it's really about using the technology, and we just heard some examples of technology that works, that solves the issues that we have in front of us. But how we can use innovation and adoption, quicker, faster adoption of this technology, and the technology of the integration of the technologies that exist. Today, we have a very fragmented market. We have fragmented industry in terms of relationships with peers that I work with and so forth. The more we can bring our solutions together, the better off we can ultimately solve the issues that we are all facing. When you think about adopting this technology, it will help reduce the operating costs that we're seeing today to be able to service our customers with the water, clean water that they need, as well as addressing and cleaning the wastewater that needs to be responsibly taken care of before it's put back into the environment. And so collectively, if we can adopt that technology, we will save costs that will allow us to address the longer-term issues in the future. So being responsible and being able to adopt that technology and working in an integrated fashion, I think, is absolutely critically important. You think of the world today and the technologists that we need and the young engineers coming out of school. This is a perfect place for young engineers to work when you think about giving back to the environment and still being able to have an economic and social combination and bring a career and an opportunity to bring technology into an industry that so desperately needs answers, and then also being able to provide a longer-term social responsibility to the communities and to the world is something that I think you're going to see with young children coming out of schools, and we need to get them excited about the water industry because there's huge opportunities and we need their innovation. The second point that I would make is we as an industry must come together as one voice. As I mentioned, the water industry is very fragmented, and as a result, I don't believe we're being heard or understood, or the issues around water are very well understood unless someone is specifically addressing a need. I'll speak specifically to the U.S., very well-established country who takes the water for granted. You turn on the tap, that water's there. So people don't think about what it costs to provide water and wastewater services, or what it means when they're allowing, a waste of water that could be utilized for another opportunity, the energy associated with ultimately bringing that water to and taking that water away. I think today when we think about the water industry, to be an expert in water, we also have to be an expert in energy, because it's the combination that's going to help us make the right solutions. You look at the energy sector. They came together as an industry with one voice. It's time for the water industry to come together as one voice, to be able to educate, to be able to really promote solutions and opportunities. The third point I'd bring up is education. Education is critically important. As I just mentioned, too many people take their water for granted. We need to do more, and as a company that has been in the water industry for as many years as we have, we are pushing very hard for our employees to take their responsibility to not only do their job and come up with new innovation to be able to help solve these problems, but be in their communities, working with their communities, talking to them about their water issues and helping them match up technologies or solutions and helping them come up with ideas, policies, practices that ultimately can help them resolve the issue. What we did as a company just about 18 months ago, maybe it's been 2 years now, we did a survey. This was again done in the US, and we've gotten information internationally, but specifically in the US, we did a survey where we went out and interviewed consumers of water. And we asked them what they knew about the water infrastructure, and it was very little. Most of them, it's the lowest paying bill that they pay, utility bill, and they take it for granted. Once we talked to them about the infrastructure and the state of the infrastructure, we got some very good surprises coming back in the survey, which said 2/3 said they would pay more to assure that they got the water they needed at the quality that they needed. They didn't understand the situation of the water industry and the need where it needs to be resolved and money being put into it to upgrade technology, to reduce energy efficiency, to reduce the leakage that we have in the infrastructure. And they felt it was necessary to be able to spend more money. They also said it's the responsibility of private companies, it's the responsibility of the government, it's the responsibility of themselves, but ultimately together we need to work this. So education is critically important. I do believe with education comes understanding, which then comes action, and we need to do our part to make sure we're doing that education, and one voice will help us do that better. Thank you.